So welcome to my first thoughts on Ys Memoire The Oath in Felghana. Now this comes out January 7th on Nintendo Switch, PS4, and PS5. I'm going to be talking about the PS5 version today. And before I begin, I will ask you guys, have you played Ys Oath of Felghana before? Have you played the past games? Are you looking forward to this new reimagined version? Let me know down below.
That's always how it goes.
Now we have to start in the beginning here is, what is this game? There's another Ys game coming out. There's a lot of you that will know it. There's a lot of you that may not. Now Oath of Felghana is a reimagined remake of an old game. Yes, an old game, Ys 3 Wanderers from Ys, which came out on the PC and PC Engine and also the TurboGrafx. This is where I originally played it back in 1991. I got it for Christmas and it was a magical game. It was strange because all of a sudden we were going side view where before with Ys we were overhead. And I'm like, what is this Ys game? It's really strange. It was over in like 5 hours. It was a very, very easy game. And then that was it. Until 2005 when the PC version came out. And I played it back then and I was amazed that they had taken that original Wanderers from Ys and kind of given it a facelift and made it kind of like pseudo 3D. And I was amazed. They had expanded it and they did a great, great job. And then in 2010, there was the PSP version of Oath in Felghana released. And this was quite an amazing thing because a lot more people got to enjoy the game.
Hard to believe it's really been 8 years since I left.
And then in 2023, we were very jealous because Japan got something. They got Oath of Felghana on the Nintendo Switch. And a lot of us out there were going, oh my god, are they going to bring this over? Are they going to bring this over? Well, yes, they have finally brought it over here as Ys Memoire The Oath in Felghana. And another really interesting talking point, the game is called Ys Memoire The Oath in Felghana. But what's fascinating, if you go to Amazon or any other video game website that's selling the game, they call it The Oath of Felghana. And so I went down this weird rabbit hole and I'm like, am I remembering this right? No, the original game is called The Oath in Felghana, not The Oath of Felghana. And it's really weird. I was doing some research and I'm like, what is this, some kind of Mandela effect? But it's always been The Oath in Felghana. And I will talk about some of the enhancements in this version as we go through this. Now, as for the story, we have Doji and Adol going back to Doji's hometown of Redmont.
Well, Adol, here we are. This is Felghana.
And monsters have appeared in the land. Things are not good. Things are not what they used to be in Felghana.
You gotta be kidding me. What the hell are monsters doing in Felghana?
And it all comes from Valestine Castle. That seems to be the root of the problem. And one thing I want to say about Dogi, and I've called him Doji in the past, I've also called him Doggy way back in the day.
Dogi?
He's kind of an interesting character. He's always the sidekick to Adol. But the one thing I noticed in playing this again, I'm like, man, Dogi is kind of a creep. When they go back to the town and they meet this young girl and she's 17, the things that he was saying to her, I was like, that's really weird.
I'm 17 now.
Man, you sure are.
But I was absolutely laughing. I'm like, this character is like so over the top at times, and I really kind of thought that was pretty funny.
She sure has filled out nicely. And she's got that whole childhood friend thing going for her too.
So to start, we have the museum mode, and you can watch the prologue, you have a gallery mode in there, and you can watch the movies. And here's something that's very, very subtle. In the options menu, you can change the character art, the profile pics of the characters from the classic way they looked to the more refined way. And so the more refined ways, they've been enhanced a little bit, their drawings have been updated, but it's very, very subtle at times. And in fact, sometimes when I was doing the comparison, I'm like, whoa, that's really subtle, but there is a difference and you can go from refined to classic.
Just do as Lord Maguire asks.
You can change your message speed, which is always a great thing. And here's an interesting thing. You can change the background music to Ys 3, the PC 88 version, or Ys 3, the X68K version as well. Or you can just play it the way I did with standard. And obviously the classic difficulty modes are back here. We have very easy, easy, normal, hard, and nightmare for the absolute sadomasochists. Now, how long of a game is this? I remember playing Oath of Felghana and finishing it maybe around 9 to 12 hours in length. And hey, that's actually something. I remember finishing the first Ys 3 on the TurboGrafx in about 4 to 5 hours back when I first got it that Christmas. As for gameplay, we have a classic Ys game here where you can run around, you can explore, you can use your sword, you can dash, you can attack, you can get magic, and that's really an amazing thing to get. You'll be using that quite a lot to take out certain enemies. And you can jump, and that was the big thing when we went from the 2D version to this version. Being able to jump in kind of like a 3D kind of way was kind of amazing. From different platforms to different platforms, I'm like, this was amazing. And this was the major selling point of Oath of Felghana back in the day when I originally played it on PC. And you also have a boost gauge that you build up and can unleash, and that makes you a lot stronger for a short amount of time. You can level up, buy equipment, and you can also take that equipment to a certain guy in town, and he will temper it, and he will make it stronger for you.
I can augment your sword, armor, and shield here. Just hand them over, and I'll make them better.
And that's the aspect of Ys that I've really enjoyed, especially when they did that in Ys 6, being able to upgrade your weapons that way. So you can get a weapon, and you can make it stronger, or armor, and make it stronger.
That sword looks like it's seen a lot of action. You should have it fixed up.
Now here we go. This is for graphics, and how are the graphics on this game? Where this is taking that original game and upscaling it and creating some new textures for it and some new profile pictures. And how does it all come together? It is a strangely mixed bag. It really is. That sometimes you look at some of these textures and you're like, oh my god, you can see the lines where they pasted textures down. And you're like, oh my god, this is a game from a very, very different time.
Man, that sucks.
And also, your main characters look very, very low res. They don't look updated or anything like that. And that was kind of surprising at first. At first, I thought when you could do the classic or refined look, I thought it was upscaling those character models, but it's not. So those characters are the way they've always kind of looked.
This place sure hasn't changed much either.
And they even upscaled the opening movie, taking that original movie from back in the day and kind of doing some extra line work on there and doing the upscaling as well. And it's a bit of a mixed bag. I gotta admit there that some of these graphics are a mixed bag, but it's the best improvement they've ever done on this game. And I'm happy to see it come out again, and I'm glad it's getting an upscaling so new players can experience it.
Thank you.
Now you can change the voices to Japanese or English. I did English, and I've been doing that for the last couple of years because I actually think that voice acting has become very, very good these days. It's very, very consistent, and I really like the voice acting here. I was really kind of swept away into it.
I believe we handed down a royal edict to close the quarry, did we not?
But it's always funny to hear Adol talk. I mean, when you hear him say something, I'm like, what? The silent protagonist is talking?
Hello there.
And that's a very interesting thing that they did to make Adol talk.
Is Dogi not with you today?
Dogi is...
Sound effects are classic. Going up to a treasure chest and opening it up, pure classic Ys. And the music, as I've said, you can do those old PC soundtracks, or you can do the modern soundtrack. Absolutely do the modern soundtrack. It's fantastic. The one thing I want to say is I have always, even from the TurboGrafx version I played in '91, I've always loved the Ys 3 music. Even back in the day, this is a stellar soundtrack then. It absolutely holds up till this day. And this soundtrack for Oath of Felghana is absolutely stunning, and it honors the original games so well, even like it did back in 2005. So overall, how do I like this game? Where you know me on this channel, I'm a bit of an Ys fan myself.
I can tell you're no amateur.
So I've always really loved the Ys games. I've always loved Ys 3, and this is where I get to kind of gush a little bit, because over the years, I bought nearly every version of Ys 3 that I could ever get my hands on right here, even the Super Nintendo version, and yeah, some of those PC versions right here as well. And as I stated, some of these graphics are not going to blow anybody away. People are not going to walk away from playing Ys Memoire going, I can't believe those graphics. Those are like next level. I don't think anybody's going to say that. But the one thing that they will do when they walk away is say, my God, that gameplay was awesome. And that's what I want to say here is this game, what makes it good and what makes it an Ys game is the grinding, is the leveling up, fighting wave after wave of enemies over and over, finding a sweet spot to do that in and doing it over and over and over again, and getting to the boss encounters and absolutely annihilating them. The proof is in the gameplay. This is what it's all about with Oath of Felghana. It is about the gameplay, it's about leveling up, and really having a great time grinding for hours at a time. Stupendous stuff. It was 33 years ago in 1991, this Christmas, that I got Wanderers from Ys, and I became a lifelong fan of Ys 3. And then for us to get a remake in 2005 was mind-blowing, and for us to get an updated version of that now, I'll take it.
Don't be a stranger.
And I will recommend it in that this is not a review, this is just some first thoughts, but I have played Oath of Felghana before, and if you're an Ys fan who's curious, it kind of, if you want to know, it's kind of like Ys Origin, in that it's a nice little game, with a lot of grinding, and it's very, very fulfilling. Some great music, great stuff, upgrading all of your equipment, and using all of those magic attacks. There's a game to be had here for Ys fans, and I would hope that it would bring in some new fans as well. And I've been a fan for a very long time. For me, it's everything I expected, but know that the character models are low res, the textures are low res at times, some of them are blurry. Know that going in, but know that there's a really great game here behind all of that.
Well, that's certainly a rarity.
So I'll ask you guys, are you interested in this game? Is it something that you're going to pick up in early January? Is it another Ys game for you and your collection? Let me know down below. So anyways, guys, until next time.